Columbus is very fortunate to have some really significant historic buildings, and many of them have been restored or renovated, and Scully Caldwell has played a great role in many of those preservation success stories. They value preservation, but they also have their eye on the future.
The Hoster Brewery has a long history in Columbus, and it's the stuff that was right on Front Street. The Hoster Brewery kind of occupies a key site there, so our hope is that by creating a project here that has a significant impact, it's going to allow the whole brewery district to get to the next level in terms of its redevelopment.
So this is a great opportunity for our city to add another dimension to a neighborhood that has been revitalized and needs a kind of another boost. And the opportunity here to not only bring all those buildings back and give them a new life, but also to add new construction and new vitality to this neighborhood. And this collection of brewery buildings is just incredible.
My family history begins with my great-great-grandfather, Ludwig Hoster, and in 1836, he does what any enterprising young German guy would do in the 1830s. You start a brewery. I think the great thing about the neighborhood, when you walk around, there is so much history that has been preserved and has been incorporated into current functions. We're interested in having a living neighborhood where people live and work and enjoy themselves. What better place to go to a bar and reflect that history with a good glass of beer, which I think would be a really good idea.
I think the brewery district remains unique because the people who come here have such a respect and understanding about the history here. And I think that a lot of business owners that are coming down here understand that. But the brewery district is growing. There are new and exciting things here. I would like to see that continue and see it grow.
When new businesses move down, it increases foot traffic, more of a vibe. Everyone wants to be where everyone else is, and for instance, when Rockmo moved in, it increased our business by about 20%. So just imagine if we had, 10 more spots down here.
We are anxious to work with everybody that has a stake in this project to make sure that as we pull all the pieces and parts together, we're doing it in a way that benefits the city. In each of these cases, we find that you get lots of opinions, you get lots of input, and the end result is better for it.
The character of Front Street's going to change considerably when the highway exit ramp is modified.
The rebuilding of the freeway system gives us the opportunity to kind of knit back together the pieces of the city that were separated from one another with this big chasm that was created to create the freeway system.
As you approach Columbus from the west on I-70, there is kind of a missing tooth there. We think there's a great opportunity for a hotel presence that's engaged with Front Street to create a much better visual first impression from the highway, and also a visual key that there's something very significant like this hotel that happens right there at that corner. It's going to draw people to that part of the brewery district.
They're going to realize that it is not an abandoned warehouse like it is now, but it's a vital part of our city, and they're going to want to go check it out. We've always said that the greenest building is the one that's already built. So look at the millions of bricks that are already in place, the fact that we have walls and roofs and floors, as well as the unique character of these buildings.
The brick's all handmade. It was, it's made using wood molds in the 19th century by hand. The timber frame structures are hand-hewn from old-growth trees. These are opportunities we just wouldn't have.
So when we first start looking at an old building and trying to figure out how to reuse it for modern purposes, we really start looking at what's there.
One of the chances we have here is to uncover what's there, almost as if it were an archaeological dig, and sort of reveal the original grace and beauty of those buildings.
It has warm brick walls, vaulted ceilings, cast iron columns that have a lot of character. Want to enhance those, but still bring in modern interventions, bring in more daylight. Beer doesn't like light, people do. Many of the windows are still there, they simply covered over them, so it's an opportunity to peel back a layer and see what kind of space we have.
It's going to be both a process of addition and subtraction. Ideally, what we want to do is make sure that in the end, the whole's greater than the sum of the parts.
To have a blend of the old and the new, so you have a conversation going between these two sets of buildings, I think that offers a great vision for the future.
When you enter the building, you'll be overlooking this market that I think will seem almost cavernous. It'll be an active marketplace that you'll have a staircase that'll descend down to it, and I think it'll be a wonderful way of creating a center of activity right in the center of the building, and it's going to be a place that I think attracts a great deal of lunchtime activity and probably evening activity as well.
There was originally a granary that ran down through part of the space, so we're looking at what would happen if we made that into almost like a tall, skinny atrium, so it would bring light all the way down through the middle of the space.
And I have bridges maybe that connect some of the pieces and parts together, the way they did when it was a brewery and they had to get from place to place.
The building that's set back from Front Street, it's called the mash house. It's where the mash for the brewing process was originally made. It's a building that we're going to be converting into loft apartments.
The opportunity to create unique housing in these buildings, it'll be different than anything else in our city. But in the end, we want people to understand that this used to be a wonderful brewing center, and now it's this mixed-use development. We want to make sure that it's evident that what's going on here is really an ongoing rebirth, really, of this whole neighborhood.
Scully Caldwell has for years been known for its historic renovations, and their passion for that, along with their passion for just the project, were really key in the success of the project. They really understood that it had to be economically feasible, but it also had to maintain the historic stature and nature of the building. It was such a team effort, and the ability for everybody to work together is probably my best memory. They have a passionate team. They take the project very personally, and we plan to work with them on a number of other projects.
They really, truly are making their mark on the city. They're saving what was the best, and they're helping create what will be the best.
And the idea is you have all these balls in the air, and they have to land in the right place. And that's what our team is prepared to do. It's not only going to be a revitalized neighborhood that's hidden kind of the way it is now, it's going to be a gateway. Anybody coming to downtown Columbus will be dropped at our doorstep. And we have the opportunity to say, welcome to Columbus, and in a really important way.